Green Chicks Export Limited, Toronto, Canada. Shipping barrels and other cargo to Grenada in 3 weeks, including custom clearing and home delivery to anywhere in Grenada. They source, purchase, and ship new and used anything. Call or WhatsApp Eric, aka Greens, on 416-569-9755. That's 416-569-9755. Check us out on Facebook at Green Chicks Export or email us at greenchicksexport@gmail.com.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291.
Well, it's on right along, so it's happening here.
Came over here. What does it mean? You know, I grew up in what I guess you call a typical family.
We break all the stories, and that's just a fact. And that's why everyone has a story to tell.
Right along live, I mean, yeah, it's a real deal.
Yeah. Welcome to the ride. Yeah, welcome to Thursday. Welcome to Thursday on the ride, man. As you come in, guys, share the thing. And say, I share. I'm in a tropical, nice place, guys. So let me indulge a little bit now. Let me enjoy myself a little bit now. Yes. All right. So, guys, as you know, it's Thursday. And on Thursday, I have my partner in crime, Mr. Anselm Douglas, who let the dogs out. Slam, what go, boy?
Good. I'm watching you get up today.
Yeah. This is sometimes I does be too stiff and things. So they say kind of vibes up a little bit.
All right. I'm watching your backdrop for this tropical place. It looks
Yeah.
The backdrop in this tropical place.
Backdrop in the tropical place don't look too tropical, right?
It looks strangely familiar. That's
How you doing, my brother? How things?
Good, I say. You know what? Every time we come on the ride, you know, George always looking well dressed. I always in a little t-shirt, and I said, "I'm gonna put on a freshly ironed shirt today and look respectable."
Uh-huh.
You know, the man come with a hat turned backwards. I don't understand.
I flip the skirt, but look, V and everybody, hi Anselm, hi handsome Anselm. I mean, Anselm, you got the fan base. I got to tell you this. I mean, you can't beat it. You got the fan base, my brother. You got it.
We do a thing.
Guys, if it's your first time here on a ride along on a Thursday, I want you guys to go ahead and share the program, because this is what we do. We give advice. It's called Dear Rider, right? It's called Dear Rider. And basically, you guys write to us and ask us questions, and we give you great advice. I mean, I think we're the only ones, Anselm, that give this type of programming and this type of brilliant advice. There's nobody else that does it. Yeah.
That is true. As long as you understand there's a disclaimer involved also.
Yeah.
In play, there's a disclaimer at play. So our advice is not necessarily professional. It's from our wealth of experience.
Yes. Experience is what it is.
That's the point right there. So we dig into a den or cave, as it were, of experience, and we try to facilitate those people who may have questions that is bugging or playing with their minds.
Yes. So guys, go ahead and share the program. Share the program, because today we're going to need input from all the viewers, everybody. have to play in this because it's a big one, guys. Very sensitive one to Anselm. Very, very sensitive one.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to start because I think we need all the time as much as possible to discuss this. Hear this one out, guys. Hear it out. Dear riders, I was molested by my uncle who lived downstairs my mom's house from the age of 12 to 14. Now, my mom found my uncle on top of me. But because she wasn't working, my uncle was the one that was taking care of the household and the bills. I was told not to talk, not to speak, don't say anything about it. I was given monies and whatsoever I need from my uncle. I sometimes see my uncle on the street at present, and it would bring back terrible memories. Right, okay. You bring back terrible memories. I am now 21 years old and my mom is severely ill. How do I move forward and forgive my mom? I haven't spoken to her in years and she's severely ill. As we said, it's a sensitive one. It's no joking matter here because it's a kind of story that we've heard before a lot of times. So it's very, very sensitive, Anselm. So we have to treat this one with kiddie gloves. I tell you, it's very, very sensitive. What says you, Anselm? What you thinking?
Well, firstly, I have to say I am to the writer. I am so very sorry that, and I mean this sincerely. I don't know if you, George, you would know this, that domestic violence, spousal abuse, and all that kind of thing. That's my platform as an entertainer.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of falls under the umbrella of that too. You know, it's domestic abuse. It's happening within the home, and it's abuse. It's sexual abuse, right? We always tend to label domestic abuse as it just goes towards two adults, a husband beating up on a wife or so. But they're always individuals who suffer in silence most of the times from the abuse. It could be verbal, it could be mental, it could be psychological, it could be physical. In this case, it was sexual. And because this person at the time was a minor, like a child, you know, a baby, you know, and to know that she was being taken advantage of by an uncle, a blood relative, and the mother became aware of the situation, and maybe because of the financial situation within the home, which is no excuse, by the way.
Right.
Because of the financial situation in the home, she turned a blind eye, as it were, to a situation where her daughter was being physically, sexually, emotionally, spiritually harmed in the worst possible way.
Yes. Yes.
So to the writer, my deepest, I can't even find a word to tell you how sorry I am that you had to go through that. And I use the term go through very loosely because you didn't only go through, because clearly you are still going through it, because it's not something that because the situation is over, mean the hurt is over or the pain is over. So I use the word going through very loosely because you're still going through it, hence not being able to get to that place of forgiveness when it comes to your mom.
Yes.
My advice to you, honestly, is two things. I think you definitely need to seek professional counseling, be it from your spiritual advisor or somebody who's qualified in that field to deal with your emotional trauma that you live every single day. Every time you hear your mother's name or you hear your uncle's name called, you relive this every single day. So it is very necessary that you seek that kind of attention, that type of care. Secondly, and I know this is hard, but I'll tell you a little something. Forgiveness is more about you than the perpetrator.
Yeah, true.
When you think when you forgive that person, you okay, I forgive you, but really and truly, it's a weight you're lifting off of your shoulder, because these people probably sleep very comfortably at night. Your uncle who did this to you is probably sleeping and snoring in the night, because that is probably his modus operandi. That is his method of operation. So it doesn't affect him, but it continues to affect you. So for you now to break that chain, to break those fetters of abuse that you've gone through and still going through, you need to come to a place where you can say, you know what, uncle, you did me wrong. You did wrong by me, and you did wrong by me for a period in my life when I was so vulnerable. But I forgive you. See where it's a weight off your shoulder, because now you move that weight off of you and you put it on them.
Right.
You did nothing wrong. You put it on them.
Right.
And, the Bible says somewhere in the Bible talks about pray for those who do you harm. It's
Right.
like when you pray for them, it's like heaping coals of fire on their head. Now, you're not praying so that coals of fire would be heaped on their head, but you praying for them. But when you pray for people who do you wrong, it's like heaping coals of fire on there. Think about coals, burning coals of fire on somebody's head.
On somebody's head,
So,
yeah.
to get to that point of forgiveness, to bring yourself to that point, to forgive that person who did you so much harm, who snatch your childhood from you, who take your innocence and literally wring it out of you until there was none. To find it in you to say, I forgive you. You would be amazed how you would just have to blossom, like truly blossom as an individual, because it's now taken everything that you have left in you to forgive somebody who took everything away from you. So it's important to forgive your uncle, and to be there for your mother, not because of, but in spite of. You're going to be there for your mother.
If you just came in, we're talking about this story where someone wrote to us. The narrative is she was sexually abused by her uncle from the age of 12 to the age of 14. Her mom knew about it, but her mom basically ignored the call because her mom was in a situation where the uncle was the one that was taking care of the financial needs of the family. So the mother did not stand up for her, did not protect her. She felt alone. Years later now, the mother is severely sick. She don't know if the mother could take her last breath tomorrow. The uncle is doing his thing, probably living his own perfect life. And she's in a position right now that she's angry, she's hurt, and she wants to find out if she should forgive, how she could forgive, and how she could go forward in forgiving in this particular situation right here. So she wrote to us. Let me give you my perspective, because I agree with a lot of the stuff that you said, Anselm. Forgiveness is not for them, it's for you.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is for you, so you get this off. You don't carry that burden. Because while you don't forgive and you're walking down the street and you everything, you just it eats you. It eats you out. While they know they are living their life, the man probably married, taking a vacation, going on a cruise. That is the last thing in the back of his head. He already
Exactly.
moved on. Right? So forgiveness is for you. So you could breathe. You probably, as he said, as Anselm said, and I agree with 100%, you need to speak to someone. You need to get this out. You need to talk about it. See a professional psychologist if you are not doing it yet. Because what would also happen is if you don't move on from this, it's going to affect every aspect of your life. It's going to affect your relationship. It's possibly going to affect, if you have kids, how you treat your kids. It will affect you your whole life from here. So it's important that you forgive. But forgiveness is not the easiest thing to say, and to know that somebody took away your life from you. And I mean, come on. It's difficult. It is hard. It is very, very difficult. And before you come in, Anselm, a lot of women, and I could see women in the chat, whenever we have this conversation, a lot of women, they get angered by these conversations because so many women went through some of these similar occurrences and nothing came of it. Nothing came of it. So we understand it's a sensitive issue, but nevertheless, I think we should talk about it and give this lady advice.
It's a situation, and you know what? This is going on right now, even as we speak. This is not an isolated event or occurrence that it happens. This is happening all the time, and not to say in the Caribbean or in the US this is happening everywhere in the world where male relatives see an easy target in a child, in a minor, this is somebody 12 years old. Their age is not even counted in teens yet. This is a 12-year-old child. And to have done something like this and get up and go down the road and line with your friends and laugh, kyak, 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 by the bar or on the job and put on a tie and be a respectable person in society, and everybody think that you're such a good person and all of that, and they don't know your dark side, because somewhere inside of you, this is now the perp now. Somewhere inside of you on your job, when you're talking to your co-workers and you're being fake, you're a hypocrite, and you're a monster. You're a true monster, but these monsters learn how to disguise. How to put on the smile, so you don't see the horns and you don't see the fangs, but they're monsters. And they're monsters they're cowards too, because they prey on the weak and they prey on the innocent. Most of these men who do that can't talk to a big woman. They don't know how to talk to a big woman. So what they do, they pounce on a child. I mean, I'm no psychiatrist or no psychologist, but it shows a certain amount of weakness and sickness to look at an infant. And I mean, I'm talking about it, but it's a serious one.
No, it's a serious one. It's a serious one. And that's why we need the input of the audience, because I know for a fact, Anselm, someone brought to my attention that it's in the high 60 percentile of people in the Caribbean, right? Women in the Caribbean that have somehow been either molested. And I'll look at the Caribbean because I'll tell you why. Either molested by a family member, touched in some kind of inappropriate way. And that range from father to uncle to brother. It goes straight down, right? High in the 60 percentile. Now, what happens is a lot of times what you find is that parents, primary guardian, may leave a child and go and seek greener pastures, or go and seek, live in the United States and try to create a life for themselves and for the child as well. And they leave that child in the guardianship of a secondary or tertiary family member, an uncle, a godparent, or whatever the case might be. And a lot of these instances lead up to molestation, right? And that's in the high 60 percentile margin. We see that also well. And the worst thing about it is, almost, I could say 90% of the women who have been subjected to this type of victimization never got any assistance from it. So they're living their life
Yeah. Suffered in silence.
suffering in silence. I remember this lady, she came on the program. I think her name was Jennifer. And she's now 60 something. She's now 60s. And she was sexually molested at the age of 12, 13, 14, going up the road up there. And let me tell you, she could remember what the man smelled like.
Whoa. Well, you know, it is said that the sense of smell has the most memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She could remember everything about what happened, and that she was 12, 13. Now she's 60 something, you know. She is 60 something. So the sexual abuse of a minor is basically taking away that minor's life. Is basically taking away the life.
You strip them of everything.
It stripped them of everything.
The normal thing to do is to live each phase in your life successfully. When you're a baby, you suck on your mother's breast. When you're a toddler, you crawl, you walk, you run, you go to school. You have phases in your life. And at the age of 12, what is happening to you? You're not mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally ready for that phase. So now the phase of having friends and laughing and sleepovers and all, that phase been stripped away from you, and there's no catching up again because it was taken. You're supposed to live each phase in your life successfully. And if that is stripped away from you, what do? Skip that phase in your life and move on to, there's no moving on.
True.
You will grow older. You know, you will grow older. You would turn into a young lady. You know, boys might be smiling at you and trying to talk to you when you're 16, 17, but there is this almost resentment and hatred for men.
Yeah.
Because of what was done to you. But you know what? Human beings adapt so well. So you put on this mask too. So there are two individuals parading here now. There is the molester who puts on his mask of being a nice, decent man in society. And then there is the molestee who puts on this mask of being okay. So one is a monster and one is bleeding.
Yeah.
But they try to function within society now, navigating this life experience, trying to navigate it best they could. Well, one is doing it on purpose because, you know what? Hey, I this is who I am. The other one, this is what you made me. You know, and it's so difficult for an individual to go through their entire life, their entire existence, to be in their 60s and still carrying around that guilt because they never seek professional help. A lot of times there's no avenue, no place where they feel safe to go and say, you know what, I'm going to call this hotline and I know my information is going to be secured and I can go and seek counseling. And I could begin to heal. Now, healing could take place even for that 60-year-old. Because you're able to get to 70 and 75 and 80 and still kind of, there's healing.
Yeah.
There's healing.
Because you know what happened to Anselm? A lot of people, especially us from the Caribbean, and I believe not only women get inflicted with this type of harm. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of men are also, been through something similar. Mm-hmm. And we, as a society, we are taught that what you're going to talk to a psychologist and you must be mad.
Yeah,
you must be crazy. Yeah. You're out of your mind. You're going loco. No, we're going to talk.
In essence, Jay, you're out of your mind.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why you're out of your mind. If my stomach hurt me like really bad, like something wrong, the first thing I go in and do is call my doctor and say, I want to come in. I need to see you.
Right.
Or you take me to the emergency room because my belly hurt, man. Right? Or somebody see you vomiting or throwing up or bleeding, hospital. But your mind, just like your heart goes bad, or your liver and your kidney and your spleen and all other parts of your body, your joints, your eyes go bad. This goes bad too. And sometimes it's not medication to heal it. It's understanding what happened and coming to terms with what happened gives you a fighting chance to move on. And that is good and sit down and talk to a professional person. But again, You know, as a Caribbean man, you know we laugh at mad people.
Yeah,
We
true,
say, "Well, don't talk to that fella, you know, he's a madman boy. And we make a
true.
big joke about it, but mental illness is a real thing.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
real thing. So somebody who's going through this constant torture within themselves because of what was done to them, there's no, well, I don't know if there is, but they need a avenue, a corridor to go down that leads to a revival,
yeah,
to, to finding themselves. Because right now they're underwater drowning in, and they need to just surface and breathe. But there's no life raft, there's no life ring, there's no lifeline for them to hold on to, no proverbial life ring to hold on to pull up themselves and breathe. So
right.
they're drowning.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you just started to watch the program here, we're talking. This is J Riders, by the way. On Thursdays, you guys write to us asking us our opinion on things. But this one is very, very sensitive issue. This young lady wrote to us, and she's having a bit of a problem forgiving her mother and her uncle. Now, her mother is, you could say, as she put it, might be like on her deathbed. What happened is when she was younger, 12, 13, 14, she lived with her mother and she was sexually molested by her uncle. Sexually molested by her uncle. Her mom knew about it, but kept it quiet. Her mom knew what was happening to her, but did not protect her. So now she haven't, from entering adulthood, she haven't spoken to her mom, and she detests the ground that her uncle walks on. As I said earlier, her mom is sick in the hospital. She could be on a deathbed right now, but she is asking about forgiveness. How should she go about forgiving her mom, and how could she go ahead forgiving her uncle, right? And it's a difficult one. I want you guys to call in and chime in and give us your input on it. The number that you call is 718-701-5720. You could call on the WhatsApp, or you could call on the phone line, 718-701-5720. And I want to hear from the women. Because I know that this is a sensitive issue. A lot of you guys know of a family, not know of a family member, but know of someone. I think everyone know of someone, if not their own self, who've been in something similar. Is it that her mom is to be blamed? That is the other question. Is it that her mom is one to be blamed, or was her mom just being a provider? It's difficult to even put those two things together because, hey, but essentially what I get from what her mom was trying to do, and it doesn't excuse it whatsoever, is that it seemed like her mom was kind of debating. Now, if she go and she talk about it, and police come in and they arrest the uncle, then how we go eat? How we go eat? What we go eat for breakfast? Who go pay the bills? Where we go live? And it's a difficult decision to make. And I know it's not the right decision that she made. But it's calling women. I want some of the females to call in and chime in on this one. Althea is saying yes, her mom should be blamed. Her mom should be blamed. She should be the one that's protecting her. Most young women or men resent their parents because of this. However, most parents try to hide these problems from the media to make themselves look good in the eyes of society. And oftentimes, sometimes they say, you don't go and empty your dirty linens out in the public because the family go look bad. So that is often an excuse that is made. We got a call on the line. Caller, where you calling us from?
I'm calling from Florida.
Florida, go right ahead.
Okay, so I heard what you said about the mother like trying to keep a family secret, but I also think that that it could be a situation where the mom herself could have been molested as a young person. It's interesting, that the mom is so, I wouldn't say casual, but for most parents, I think they would be enraged. They would want to chop this man. They would want to do a lot of things. So I think it's a combination. It's not just the fact that she was trying to keep a family secret or protect her uncle or protect her daughter or whatever she was trying to do. I think it's for someone to be so unmoved with something so heinous, it means that they themselves may have had some type of experience where she doesn't understand how serious it is. This is your daughter that came out from inside of you. You actually see a man, taking advantage of them like that. I mean, even if you did not call the cop, but at the least she could have done was ask the man to leave the house, to go, so that the daughter would not continue. It is interesting to know, though, was she um sexually molested after that time the mother found them, or is it something that continued? Because at least the mom could have asked him to leave the house or make some type of arrangement where her daughter and that individual was not in contact. And if it continued, the fact that the mother is so, like I say, so easy on something so awful, there's a possibility that it's a vicious cycle of sexual abuse that has been going on in that family for a long time. And I would not be surprised if even that mother, if she's younger than that uncle, could have been molested by him as well. So it's a very sad story, and I feel for her, because sometimes women go through things and for years, you act normal and you act as if, everything is okay. And then sometimes, out of the blues, out of nowhere, a conversation. And as you said, sometimes a smell, a scent, something just reminds you. And it's like a wound that is just infected all over again. So
Right.
people never, ever, ever really heal from those types of trauma. And as your guest stated, people put on masks. They wear their mask every day, and they act as if it's okay. But it's awful. And in the Caribbean, unfortunately, it's very prevalent. And I think a lot of it is because of poverty, small spaces. Young people are going through the changes where their hormones are kicking. People are crowded in, as it was in the past. It's probably getting better now. But as it was in the past, parents traveling to make a better life for their children. Kids are staying in crowded rooms in big yards with uncles, aunties, family, brothers and sisters. All of that kind of thing. It could be very awful, and a lot of it has to do with poverty. But yeah, I just thought I'd make my
very important point. I want to find it from a female perspective, right? Where should she start the forgiving, or should she forgive at all? How do you forgive after something like this?
Are you talking to me? Or
Yeah. I'm talking from a female perspective. In your mind, I mean, just an idea. I just want to have an idea, because she wants to know. Should she forgive them, or where should she start? Forgiving her mom in particular.
Right now in the US, I feel like people are stepping out. A lot of people are stepping out, and they're holding people accountable, and they are confronting people. I've seen quite a bit of those actions, happening. But in the Caribbean, because the islands are so small and people still know each other, everybody know each other. People are, sometimes the victims are more concerned about how it will look for the other person. In other words, you can get to the point where you feel sorry for the victim, and you feel that if you come forward and say something that is going to make you look bad, or you feel sorry for the person. And so with the Caribbean, a lot of people, like I say, are just walking around with the pain, walking around with the hurt. And it's very difficult to forgive, especially when you can't or don't confront. So I think the best way for her to forgive perhaps is to talk to her mother about it and let her mother know how she felt, and let her mother apologize. Sometimes an apology is all it takes. People want to hear, I'm sorry. People want to hear somebody say, I was wrong. I took advantage of you. I should not have done that. I don't know what was wrong with me, or something like that. But we just let it go and we sweep it under the carpet. And like I say, sometimes it goes away for years and years and years, but sometimes it just pops back up, like I said, like a wound, So if I had to advise her, I would say, try to have a conversation with your mother, and start with your mother. And I don't know if she will ever have the courage to confront her uncle. I don't know if she ever will, if she'll have the courage to do that. But I would say, speak to your mother. It's your mother. Talk to her, because she's in her own hell as well. Believe it or not, she's in her own hell.
Yeah.
So have a conversation with her, probably hug and cry. But I think it's very, very important that she has that conversation, and you don't just forgive, and because it's really not going to be real forgiveness. Just they need to talk. They need to have a conversation. If she's uncomfortable confronting the mother directly, I would say get a third party, some trusted family, friend, pastor, whatever, and say, "Mommy, we have to talk. We have to talk. I don't want you to leave this earth with this thing hanging over us."
Right.
So what I would do.
Point taken. Thank you so much, Floyd. I appreciate you. Guys, we're keeping the phone. Thank you, Floyd. I appreciate you, guys. We're keeping the phone lines open because again, this is a touchy one. This is a touchy one, and I know that a lot of people are somehow has confronted that reality or know someone who confronted that reality, the reality of sexual abuse in the home. And most of the times, there's also statistics that show that most of the times this sexual abuse happen in close quarters. It might be a cousin. It might most times it's a uncle or in close quarters. You know what I mean? So it happens. Let me take this next caller right on the line. Let me put this caller. Caller, 1 second. I have to push you over on. So just bear with me a quick second. Again, you're watching Right Along Live. Let me get this caller up on inside of the live. Stand by. Caller, I see you on the WhatsApp, so hold on 1 second. I bring you in, all right? I'm just trying to sync the phone to the board.
Don't call my name.
Okay, no problem. All right. I won't call your name, but we'll put you up. Stand by. Again, guys, keep the number, save the number. I want you guys to call in and tell us what your thoughts are on this situation right here. We got the caller up, phone lines up. Okay, caller, go right ahead. You're live.
Call on the WhatsApp?
Yeah, call on the WhatsApp. Go right ahead.
Okay, good evening, Junior and Slim and Riders. This situation, I think that the best thing that should happen is that the should confront the abuser, right? Talk to him, confront him, and also her mother. She should talk to her mother, have conversation with her mother, ask her why she didn't protect her, and so forth. I think talking would help in the healing process, right? Once you confront a situation, that means that you're apprehend it, okay? So it would be an easier way to the healing process. For example, once I was sexually molested by a policeman. I was about 14 years old. No penetration, okay? I was 14 years old and I was living with my grand aunt. And they moved into a new home. So this policeman now was the guard. He was, the guard. And they sent me downstairs for some drinks in the storeroom and he was guarding the building. And when I went downstairs, he pulled me in the corner and started to feel up my breast and the little thing was just busting, so you could imagine how that hurt. And then pull up my tongue and what he didn't do. And I felt so stinky. That's a stinky feeling. And I grew up with that. And I used to see that policeman teaching people to drive. And when I see with them young girls teaching them to drive, that always came back to me. And when I confronted that man, while I was working on the airport, he was a taxi man. He used to come down there and pick up people and, passengers and people from away used to come down there. And I confronted that man in front of the taxi drivers down there. I confronted him. I told him what he did in front of the taxi man. And from that time, I got a conscience. I felt good. I felt empowered. I didn't feel stink and nasty again every time I see him, but he felt stink and nasty when he saw me.
So you
He
transfer.
never came back down on the airport to work.
You transfer it. You transfer it, that feeling.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
He never came back down on the airport to work after that. He just quashed because the taxi don't they let him have it. Okay, so I think is when you confront them, you take your power. You understand? You take back your power. So you should confront the abuser and then have conversation with her mother. The mother might apologize. Okay. All right, then. That's my conclusion.
Thank you so much, caller. Very, very, very important. And Handsome, you said it at the top. Put that fire on top of their head. Because now, as this caller rightfully said here, by just speaking about this and confronting him, she felt relief. Wow. And the guy felt so bad about what he did. He pulled back. Because he felt disgusted.
I don't know if he felt bad because of what he did, or if he felt bad that people do.
Yeah, he felt embarrassed. Yeah, he felt embarrassed. Yeah,
people know. So that was her way of taking back her power. And you know what? If that worked for her, more power to you. You know, because at this point, anything that would give you back your power, shy of hurting somebody else, anything that would give you back your power, you take it because it was taken from you.
Right.
So you take it. Now, somebody else might have gone a different route and say, you know what, I need to have a conversation with you, and might have a witness there, like one witness, one family member there, and say, listen, when I was so and so, you did so and so to me, and you have affected my life for the rest of my life. And I definitely needed to confront you because you owe me an apology.
Right.
And in front of another witness, the person might have said, you know what, I was young, I was older than you, but I was young, and my head wasn't screwed on right. But since then, I've changed my life. But I ask that you forgive me, and I was wrong, and so that might be another route to go. But what I'm saying is, in my mind's eye, there's no wrong way to regain your strength and regain your power, as long as you're not hurting anyone in the process.
Right. There's an analogy that hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation about 2 years ago with a former child molester. I remember the first time when I said, okay, coming up and right along later this evening is a former child molester. And people was like, what? Are we talking a former child molester? We can't listen a conversation with a former child molester. People were very upset, first of all, that I even accepted the interview with the former child molester. But the idea that I was going with is to bring the former child molester on to understand the psyche of a former child molester. And you know what happened? What he said? He said, at the age of 14, he was sexually molested. He was sexually molested at the age of 14. Mm-hmm. And when he reached, I think it was 34 or something like that, he turned around and sexually molested someone at the age of 14.
A revolving door.
He never got help. He never got any kind of psychological treatment, nothing at all. So he's coming right now, and he changed his life, and now he's a pastor, and he's asking for forgiveness. Let's continue this conversation, but we have a caller on the line. Caller, where are you calling us from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. Go right ahead, Brooklyn.
Talking about forgiveness to your mother. I think it's a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, even if your parents would have done you something, or let's say the person has failed to protect you as a child, even if your mother is somewhat, let's say, soft towards you or nice towards you, it might be a easier thing for you to say, well, maybe mommy did know better, and she's different, or she's trying, or stuff like this. So it might give you, you know, a little room to forgive her.
Right.
But on the other hand, as a child, there are times I think education has a lot to do with it. But back then to now, parents were not educated as to how to deal with certain situation. You know, they live in denial. They disbelief and stuff like this. You know, as to how do I handle this? How do I go about dealing with the whole situation? Because you know, I had a mother and there was like 11 of us in the house. My grandfather had 3 outside children who used to come to visit us. And 2 of the boys, or my uncles, not for hell, they wouldn't leave me alone. But I was strong enough to know that this is wrong and I'm going to fight you.
Right.
They never had the chance to have sex with me, but I know at night, sometimes in the bed, my mother was 2-bedroom, 11 of us, the girls in one room, the boys in one room, who under the bed, my uncle sleep outside. But in the night, you would see him crawling like a snake to come into the room. Yes, he crawls like a snake. And my mother would have never believed me. Sorry, I know I have a voice a lot of people know. Because, I hear you're right along, but I don't care. So he would crawl in the room to interfere with me. But I would stand up to him. And when he realized that he can't have his way with me, what he used to do is to hold me whenever something go wrong in the house, so my mother could beat the life out of me. Yeah, that's what he used to do. And you know, I grew up looking at him and it's like, well, I know he didn't get to me, so you know, he didn't really bother me, but it bothered me because I look at you being there with my mother as this loving uncle, and I know you were nasty.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I couldn't tell my mother because I know she wouldn't believe me. But I was strong enough to fight them off on that because I knew this was not right. But now that I'm grown and you speak with other family members, let's say my sisters, it's amazing the nasty men that you grow amongst as uncles. And it's not 1, it's not 2, it's not 3. And I'm wondering, is this a generational curse? Or is it just a nasty habit that men have? And my children, they saw me as a mother who is overprotective and wouldn't allow them to go anywhere. But I knew the problem that I had.
And that was as a result, of what happened to you. So you instill that into your kids. You purposely know that what happened, so you don't want that to happen to your kids.
No.
So you created an environment that was never going to be an enabling environment for any kind of pedophile, any kind of predator.
So anybody came to my house, my kid is going to sleep in my room, even if I have to put a mattress on the floor.
Right.
I'm in my room and give the stranger the bedroom. So I closed that gate.
Yeah. And
also,
go ahead, caller.
Yeah, so this is one of the problem that we face as female. But then you as a young girl at 12, you should know definitely that this is wrong. Something ain't right.
Right.
And you must have either a friend or in school, because we had teachers in school where you could have talked to, or they based on I'm talking about I'm 60 now. So back then we had teachers we could have talked to.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have said something to someone, who would have at least helped in some case, but
right. Carla, we appreciate you sharing your story here, and it's important that more people talk up, because sometimes people feel like they're in this alone and this is only happening to them, or this only happened to them. So when we hear people speak about this, it creates more of a community of people that are speaking out. But I also want to interject that this don't only happen to little boys. I mean, to women, to females. We also have this same situation happening to little boys and men as well. Men get sexually abused, and oftentimes men don't speak about it. Men get sexually abused by female. Men get sexually abused by male, and oftentimes, guys, they don't talk about it, and they grow up with that for as long as they may live, and they may never speak about it, and they may react in certain ways, and you might go, "Why are you doing that?" You don't know what's deep within his history, and that is important to speak about. Let's take this next call, and then we'll talk a little bit. Caller, your live, where are you calling us from?
Hi, good evening. Calling from Toronto.
Toronto, go right ahead. Toronto, do me one little favor. Turn on your volume a little bit on your device. Getting a little bit of a feedback.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yes, better. Go right ahead.
Yeah, good evening to everyone on the live.
Yes.
I would like to emphasize, Junior, and sorry for my voice because I'm in the gym and I clicked onto your live right now.
Yes.
It's a very important and it's very interesting a conversation that you guys are actually having here. And I think as parents is one of the things that we have to look into to educate our young boys and girls. Teach them more about being, someone actually molested as a molester. That's someone that, you got to talk to them and educate them about, doesn't have to be a stranger.
Right.
A family member. And this goes for both male and female as well. It's not only as a woman being molested by an uncle or your stepdad. There's a lot of young men actually being molested too. And I think the Caribbean is one of the biggest thing right now. Mm-hmm. We as parents, I grew up in the Caribbean, and I came to Canada after a couple of years. But I think in the Caribbean, I think we really need, and I would emphasize on that, we really need as parents mm-hmm. to educate our daughters and our sons.
Yes.
We need to teach them about sex education. And I grew up in the Caribbean as a young man. My brothers, brothers of three. We grew up in a home. My grandparents and grandfather grew up. And the thing with it is in a community, when you're growing up in the Caribbean, most parents don't really educate you about sex education.
Right.
We
True.
all actually experience those things mostly on our own. And sometimes we're sitting on the block, there are other little kids might more break out in a faster stage than we in life. And we heard certain things from them about sex. And, they will talk to we about those other things. And that's how most of we in the Caribbean really get to learn about sex education. But we parents don't really teach us about that. On the topic you talk about as a parent, wanting forgiveness, I think it's a hard thing for a lot of young people, after so many years, knowing that your mother or your father know this happened to you, they've seen it happen to you, and they will dare not actually do something to protect you,
right?
The daughter and the son. I mean, come on, looking at that, looking back at all these years, and your parents actually sick now, and they're asking you for forgiveness. Yes, anybody can forgive the parent.
Yes.
Anyone. But this is something that you can never forget.
True.
Even if you go through rehabilitation, even if you go through some counseling about this problem, a lot of people do not get over it. A lot of people intend actually take a sidetrack from that in life. Because as one of the callers said on the live, some people look at themselves as they're disgusting. They don't even want to be in a relationship anymore. And the mix that I was talking to you on the live here is as I said, a lot of people look at men or women as disgusting. They don't want a relationship. They don't even want children in their life because they fear that their daughter or their son, this will actually happen to them.
Yes.
So most people look at it very differently. And I'm thinking it's not even goes for the Caribbean. This go international.
Yeah.
It happened here in Canada. It happened here in America. It happened so many different places. And I've seen it here in Canada a lot of times. And then you see a lot of women come out after so many years at the age of 50 and 60 and saying this person had molested me when I was at the age of 10 and at the age of 9. So I think we really have to try and educate our young ones, our young women and young men about the situation. It's like little things like this, you have to actually teach them to come to talk to you. Feel freely to talk to you as a mother, as a father. And because in the Caribbean, look at it, most of we grow up in a tough, this tough love.
Yes.
If you tell your mom or you tell your dad, like, oh, uncle touched me here, or auntie touched me here, right away, they don't even ask you questions. They intend to beat you. What are you talking about? How could you say that about your uncle? How could you say that about your auntie?
Mm-hmm.
So most kids are scared to talk about this type of situation. And then they grow up and they resent the parents by that problem.
Yeah.
They don't want to see the parents anymore.
That is the situation that exists here because, as we said, this young lady, she haven't spoken to her mom in many, many, many years. And her mom is, as she described here, is probably on her deathbed, very, very sick. And she's at a point where she just don't know how to. But thank you, caller. We appreciate your input, and we appreciate your call. Canada always in the house. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you guys. The show is very great, man. Continue doing it, and you guys have a good time.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'm thinking something though, George. If she has not been speaking cordial with her mom for years, there must have been some time when the mother asked her, so why you don't come and look for me, girl? Or how come you don't talk to me again, girl? It must have been, there was a break-off point where I don't speak to my mother anymore.
Yeah.
At some point, I would like to assume that the mother would have wanted to know why.
I think. Listen, I think the mother know and understand the pain that she's going through, as she went through. Because
honestly, instinctively, a mother especially, in the entire animal kingdom, mothers protect their young. That's just how it is. That's how God designed it. Look at a chicken in the yard with a hen. That hen would fight a pit bull and give her life to save her chickens.
Yeah.
That's just how, because when it comes to being a mother, I'm not saying parent, when it comes to being a mother, there's a certain amount of selflessness.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of, I will give my life for my offspring.
Mm-hmm.
But when a mother knows of a situation like this and did nothing or wait out food or pimp out my daughter, food or turn my daughter into excuse my terminology, a whore. Because that's what you're doing. You're pimping out your daughter so that you could put food on the table.
Yeah.
If things were so bad, you should have gone out and pimp out yourself to put food on, because that's what parents do. They sacrifice themselves for their young.
Not the other way around.
You don't sacrifice your young so that you could eat. Who does that?
Yeah, that's bad. We got another caller on the line. Caller, live. Where are you calling us from?
Hey, Junior.
Hey.
Richie, Brooklyn.
Hey, Richie, how are you doing, sir?
Not too bad. Good afternoon to the whole panel. How you guys doing?
Not bad at all, man.
All right, great. Well, I'm listening to the whole program and the whole, topic. It really hurts because me, basically, as a young man who have my daughter, I cannot imagine that someone would do that to my daughter and for me to just sweep it under the rug. It doesn't matter who, because a parent's duty is to protect the children at all costs.
Right.
And especially females. The reason why I said females, girls tend to cling to the father, but they still have that bond and that tie with mom, where when something happened, they should be able to call mom and have a talk with mom and say, hey, mom, listen, X is X, that is that. Hearing most of these women saying that certain things had happened to them and they were scared to even talk to their mom about it because the mom may not have believed them. This is sad. This is really sad. But in this young lady case, forgiveness to her mom, it will be really hard, because for me, I think what would have made it easy is if the mom acknowledge where she neglected her child and she feels so hurt inside that she keep trying to rectify or to meet her child and to have a conversation about it and let the child know how sorry she is and kind of explain to her what was her situation and why she was reluctant to do something about it, although
Right.
that does not actually fix the problem, but at least that might have given the child a little, just a little basically comfort to know, well, you know what, my mom wanted to do something, but just based on the situation that we was in, she didn't do anything.
Right.
Just knowing that your mom, deep down inside, she wants to defend you, and maybe because even right now, if this young lady wants, she could even take steps and make him pay for his crime, right? Because especially if it's in this state here. But the 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 next part about this in forgiving him, it's not really about forgiving him for his sake, but for her sake. She has to find some form of basically closure to herself, not forgiving him to make him feel good about what he did. Because for me, I think forgiveness comes from someone who actually deserves to be forgiven. If somebody do you wrong and that person willing to basically see where they go wrong and willing to come to you voluntarily and basically acknowledge where they go wrong to you and beg your forgiveness, yeah, fine. I think you should really, take some time and you should look into it and find that place in your heart where you could, forgive that person because that person actually see what they did to you was very wrong and be sorry about it. But if the uncle never show no interest, he couldn't care less how she feel, then from my point of view, she shouldn't let him know that she forgive him. She has to forgive him in her heart for herself and make herself feel good. But let he basically continue living day by day. Whenever he see her, wonder what is going on in she mind.
Right.
Is she forgive me? Right? But she has to find that place to forgive him for her, but not for him.
Right. True.
Right,
point well taken,
that's
caller. Appreciate you so much.
All right.
Thank you, Richie.
All right, brother. Bless.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap it up here, Anselm, but let's get some closure to this. I would say yes, forgive. Because as I stated, you stated at the beginning, the forgiveness is not for them, it is for you. Just like when you go to a funeral, the funeral is not for the deceased, really. The funeral is for you. It's a closure for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I say forgive. I say try to find it in your heart to forgive so you could move on. They already moved on. And the mother might move on pretty soon. Who knows? The man is living his life. He's probably not even thinking about it. You need to move on. So you need to find a way to forgive. I think you could confront, but forgive, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you would forget. You wouldn't forget because you could never forget. If you were ever to have kids, you would bring up your kids now in a manner that might never happen to them. You will be so sensitive to anything your kids say. You would take action. Nothing like that could happen to your kids. Your kids probably couldn't even sleep the night over by a friend because you never forget and you never will forget. So I say forgive for yourself, but don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. I think that term forgive and forget is kind of misunderstood by a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness is a verb. It's an action. It's about letting go of the hurt, of the rage, of the anger, of the pain, of the vexation, of all the negative things that you have towards somebody because of what they did to you, you were saying, you know what? It's like, think about having, and I don't want to gross anybody out, but think about having an upset stomach and you know, oh God, my stomach. The food that you ate probably had you upset. But forgiveness is like vomiting. It's like, you get all of that out of you.
Yeah.
You get all of that out of you. The forgetting, what we say forgetting, is really the moving on. You know? When I say forget, it's not, sometimes to you, there's no way you could switch that off and say it never happened. It happened. So it's not about forgetting, it's about moving on. So when people say forgive and forget, that forget should really be replaced with forgive and move on. Because once you vomit, once you get it out of your system, you begin to feel better. You're not as sick as you were 10 minutes before. So now, coming back to my, let's call it my closing remarks, I would tell the sister, the dear writer, it's going to be difficult to forget, to forgive in the first place. It's going to be difficult to forgive. When it comes to your uncle, in your heart, forgive him. I don't even think you need to confront him. Pray for him and all. And it's like heaping coals of fire in his head. And you will just, one day you will just see him like he's just withering up. It's like, you know, because the things will catch up with him. His wrong will catch up with him. If he can't come to terms with what he has done, it will catch up with him. Yeah. You gotta just say, you know what? In my heart, I forgive you. I know what you've done. I know what you've done to me, but I need to move on for my sanity and leave that alone. When it comes to your mother, who is more personal, as the caller called and said, you came out from inside of her. So if you could have some sort of conversation with your mother before she leaves God's green earth, if you could have a conversation with her one-on-one, no vexing, no vexation thing, just say, Mom, at no point you feel that wrong or harm was done to me as your child, you know. And if the mother say, yeah, I know, let the lines of communication open. Because sometimes that's what people waiting on to cross to the other side, you know. Might be sick on your dying bed, but you can't cross because you have unresolved issues here. So maybe she should sit by her mother's bedside in the hospital or at home or wherever she is ailing and have that conversation with her so that you could move on and still seek professional help. It cannot hurt. It cannot hurt. Talk to somebody professional.
Yeah. Great advice. Guys, you see, we give all your great advice. On a Thursday, dear Ryder, Anselm Douglas and Jr. Now listen, guys, if you have something that's bothering you, something that you want to share with the world, on Thursdays, we do it right here. And the idea, there are people who want to share their story because Ride Along is all about people sharing their stories. But there are people who want to share their story, but timid about coming on camera. We understand. So on Thursday, it's for you. You don't want to face the cameras. You want us to share your story. It's completely anonymous. You could sit back and watch the advice. You could sit back and see how people react to it. This is your day. So if you have an issue, you want to talk about something, you could write to us at ridealongtv@gmail.com. That's ridealongtv@gmail.com. Or you could even inbox us right here. Just inbox us and we'll probably pull it out of the pile of things. And I'd probably talk about your stuff next week. Again, you could inbox us your issue and we're going to get it right here on Dear Rider. All right. And Anselm, I was listening to that track. I listened about 50 times. I went in the car and I turned it up. That brand new track is blazing. Brand new music coming out from Anselm Douglas. Guys, support all the artists. Support Anselm. Anselm, tell the people how they could connect with you and get some of your brand new music.
Well, I am everywhere. I'm on Spotify. You check me out on Spotify, Anselm Douglas. You can check me out on YouTube, Anselm Douglas. Go to @Anselm Douglas 64 on Instagram. Facebook is Anselm. Just, you know what? The best place to go, let me tell you the best place to go. At AnselmMusic.com.
Right.
If you type in AnselmMusic.com, you're going to see Spotify, SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook. All the platforms are right there. You just click on whichever one you want, where you could stream, you could download. Just check it out.
Yeah, they say they want the poll. They say they want the poll to come to the final decision to what they should do. So let me see if I could see if I could get them to generate a poll real quick, because the audience, and so we can't forget the audience, you know, is the people show, you know, is the people show. All right, guys. So let me see if you could get the polls up really quick. Stand by, don't move. And so in the meantime, talk to them now. Let me just get the poll up and get their votes.
All right, you look for your polls, and we will talk about upcoming events. All right, you have something coming up just now, Julie. You have something. You always have something coming up.
Yeah.
You always have something coming up. But I have. Let me just let you know what's going on. Junior just hinted. I have a brand new song, a summer release. It's called Sailing. You know, some people are already calling it We Going Sailing. You know, so I want you guys to look for it, check it out. Soon we're going to be doing a video for it, and I think this one is going to be a big one for the summer, if I should say so myself. You heard the host Junior say he listened to it. How many times? 15 or 50?
Yeah, 50 times in the car. Very loud loud in the car.
Yeah. You know what? My daughter called me last night and she said I was listening to it inside, but I needed to blast it, so I went in my car. This is late. Right? She went in her car and turned up her speakers to hear it, and she called me so excited. Oh, this is so good, and you know. So it felt good knowing that, you know, my firstborn, she's in love with the music, you know. You know, I sent it to my girl in Trinidad. She's in love with it too, and she's on right now listening.
Okay, good.
All right. She don't like to comment, but she's there. She's
there watching, watching in private. I got a poll ready for you guys. So this is the question, right? If to forgive, hold on. I select the wrong poll. I really want to get this poll up. Hold up. Let me select the right poll. And we're going to press thumbs up or heart. All right. We're going to do the thumbs up or the heart. Let me see. Okay. I think that's it. All right. Here we go, guys. This is the poll. So if you are saying that the dear writer should forgive, you're pressing the heart. If you're saying that she should forgive, you're pressing the heart. If you're saying that she should not forgive, you're pressing the thumbs up. Press it right now. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about this one. If you're saying that she should forgive, you're pressing the heart. So if she should forgive, if you think she should forgive, you're pressing the heart. If you're saying that she should not forgive, just keep it in, keep it moving, forget about everything else. She should not forgive, just go on with your life, leave them, let they live, and you live yours. You're pressing the thumbs up. All right. So go ahead, guys. Press it right now. So it's 21 to 30 so far. 30 people saying don't forgive, and keep it going, guys. Keep it going. If you're saying that the young lady should forgive, if she should forgive her mother, forgive her uncle, move on, you're pressing the thumbs up, you're pressing the heart. And if you're saying that she should not forgive, just live your life, don't forgive, just move on, don't forgive, you're pressing the thumbs up. Press it right now. I'm gonna run it for another minute, guys. I'm gonna run it for another minute. Let me know what you're saying. We're gonna run it for another minute. All right, we're gonna run it for another minute. Should she forgive? Should she forgive, or should she not forgive? This is the tally on the board. This is the question on the board. This is the poll. We are 29 to 30. 30 saying don't forgive. That is 29. 31 saying forgive. 31 to 30. 31 to 30 saying 31 saying forgive. 31 saying that she should forgive. 32. Guys, we're going down. Let me set the timer to 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Kobe, set the timer there for 30 seconds for me.
Like everybody else, I'm joining in the team, we moving left. We sailing right. We sailing.
Should she forgive? At 33 saying that yes, go ahead and forgive. 30 saying don't forgive.
We sailing. While we rocking, we sailing. While we sailing.
33, yes, forgive. So far, the forgiveness is happening. Answer forgiveness is happening. People are saying that she should forgive. So we have the time looking. We just said the 30 seconds mark, so it's gonna buzz. 33 to 30. Well, should she forgive or don't forgive? 33 to 30. What are you saying? Should she forgive or not? We're testing the temperature. It's time? All right, and it's time. It's time. So this is where it's at. Wow. Narrow margin answer. Look at that. 31 to 30. Okay. Let's end it at this. 33 to 31. So it's a narrow.
Neck and neck, they call that.
Neck and neck. Yeah. Hi guys, Anson, thank you so much. And as always, we support you, we salute you, and thanks for sharing the screen with me on a Thursday. Appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you, man. Have a good one. God bless.
Yeah. Hi guys, this is where I'm also going to put the call out, right? I'm also going to put the call out for some of our supporters, our top supporters. I'm going to start with you. If any one of our top supporters, let's make it top supporters and top fans. So if you're a top supporter or a top fan of Ride Along, that means you interact a lot, you are there, you engage, and you have that top fan badge or that supporter badge, and you want to become you want to come on the panel in any one of our shows on a Thursday, we're going to give you the option to do so. Just inbox us and let us know that you're interested, and we'll book you to come on. So it'll be myself, Anson Douglas, and you. Yeah, top fan has perks. Supporters has perks. So this is the opportunity to come on live with us on a Thursday to give your opinion as well. All right? Just inbox us and tell us, yeah, I want to come on. We'll make it happen for you on a Thursday, because a Thursday is all about you guys. It's all about you. All right. Again, thanks to everyone. And, there are so many things happening in this world, guys. There are so many things happening in this world. Oftentimes people message me and they say, "Why are you talking about man and woman situation? Why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about that?" I just have to laugh sometimes, because we try to cover everything, but we cannot speak about one thing all the time. And we're not going to speak about one thing all the time. I know election is in the air. People want to hear about the candidates, but there are people who want to discuss other things and other topics, and that's why we're here, integrating all sorts of different conversation right here on the Ride. And I hope you guys understand. Like tomorrow, no drama on a Friday. Tomorrow is all about Ride trivia on a Friday. No drama on a Friday tomorrow. And on Thursday, that's what we do. But always connect with the page, because anything that's happening in the world, it's always where? It's always where? It's always on Ride Along Live. The following is a paid political advertisement from the National Democratic Congress.
Sisters and brothers, I ask you to hear me just on this point. Examine the team of the National Democratic Congress. You just examine them, compare them one by one. And what you see is an experienced group of people ready to take this country forward.
I'm Deacon Mitchell, and I endorse this message.
hard to imagine this is how 2020 started. But across the world, dozens were falling ill with a mysterious virus that would ultimately change life as we know it. Chinese health authorities are still working to identify the
The COVID-19 pandemic is now casting doubt over the 2021
As soon as it gets open, I can. 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 I'm tired, see home and need out.
Why you talking the job must pay? All you understand, job must play.
Show the party turn up tonight. Because we out and bad and the people better we causing trouble. Trouble, trouble. Just what show we causing trouble. Trouble, trouble.
You don't carry the fire that my ancestors have given to me. You merely adopted the job. I was born in it. This is job religion. Job, job, religion. This is job religion. Job, job, religion. This is job religion. Job, job, religion. This is job religion. Job, job, religion.
Chicks Export Limited, Toronto, Canada. Shipping barrels and other cargo to Grenada in 3 weeks, including custom clearing and home delivery to anywhere in Grenada. They source, purchase, and ship new and used anything. Call or WhatsApp Eric, aka Greens, on 416-569-9755. That's 416-569-9755. Check us out on Facebook at Green Chicks Export or email us at greenchicksexport@.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.
Well, it's on right along, so it's happening here.
Came over here. What does it mean? You know, I grew up in what I guess you call a typical family.
We break all the stories, and that's just a fact. And that's why everyone has a story to tell.
Right along live, I mean, yeah, it's the real deal.